couple different channels. I got this running on Poster Mogul and then Hood Action News with posts. So I got this running on Hood Action News with posts. So I got a couple more stories. A lot of killings, a lot of different stuff going on. And that last story happened Christmas Eve. Now, I'm gonna switch it. It's a lot of murders in one setting. Let's see what's going on in South Florida with these condos. So it says condo owners. Let me get this on the screen for you. So let's see what's going on with these condos in South Florida. So condo owners in South Florida are facing like a lot of challenges. HOA fees, probably insurance. There's probably a lot of different things that they're going through. So I want to take a look at this.
Condo associations scramble to meet new requirements aimed at preventing another devastating condo collapse.
It's for their own benefit. This is not a special interest push. The reality is you can't slow down Father Time, and Mother Nature is undefeated.
Lawmakers vowing to make more condo reform a priority in 2025 as some condo owners continue to face growing uncertainty.
All of a sudden, you pay $120,000 more for your apartment.
Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Alina Machado. For the next half hour, we're going to look back at some of the changes impacting those of you who own condos in South Florida, especially how those changes are impacting your wallet and the condo market in general. And to understand how we got here, it's important to look back at where it all started. June 24th, 2021 is a day we will never forget here in South Florida. The Champlain Towers South in Surfside came crashing down, killing 98 people. And the tragedy fueled calls for change as the building's maintenance history came into sharp focus. Lawmakers in Tallahassee, determined to take action, passed a series of condo reforms aimed at making condos safer to make sure we never see another tragedy like this again. And since then, the NBC6 response team has heard from many of you about the challenges you are facing as you try to keep up with the rising cost of condo ownership. One viewer wrote their HOA fees had doubled. Another viewer who said they were facing a new assessment wrote in part, "We need help with keeping prices down, or there are some seniors who are going to lose their homes. We need help too." Another told us how they were facing two assessments on their.
So I'm gonna give you an example. I always look at condos. I don't really like HOA fees, right? But I always look at condos and how much they cost. I go on Zillow and I go on Trulia, right? Now, the HOA fees, just say the apartment is I'm gonna give you a ballpark figure. I could be a little off with the numbers, right? But just say an apartment is 200, just say one condo unit, like basically a one bedroom apartment, one bath apartment is like 275,000. The HOA fee is probably like, in Florida, it was probably like 275, 300. Now that's double. So now the HOA fee, if you don't know what the HOA fee is, you pay your mortgage and added on to your mortgage is your HOA fee. Now, HOA fee is homeowners association. Now, supposedly, allegedly, now that they take this and it's for the trash, to cut the lawn, maybe plumbing. It's supposed to do different stuff around the building because you're still responsible for what goes on inside your apartment or your condo. So different now, the HOA fees go up. But like I said, if you just say you buy an apartment for like 275,000, right? And you're mortgaging this. On top of that, you might have to pay in Florida, I believe, just say it's like $300 a month for HOA fees, right? Now they doubled. So on top of your mortgage, you got to pay like $600 a month or more for the HOA fee versus a house with no if you buy like a single family home with no HOA fee, obviously you're not paying it. Now some single family homes, they may be in like in a community, in like a cul-de-sac type of thing, community, but the HOA fee might be like $25 a month and below that. So you do your own research on that. But let's see what else they're saying right here.
Condo, adding that this was out of control. And yet another person wrote that their HOA fees had tripled in the last 2 years. They said they went from paying $400 a month to now over $1,200 a month, adding.
I said 300, so it's 400, and they actually tripled. That's wild.
This is a 55 plus community, and some residents are selling their condos for pennies since they cannot afford it anymore because they live with fixed incomes. This person said that they had put their condo for sale, and in 2 months, no one has had any interest in even looking at the place since the entire complex has more than 70 units for sale. And that is a trend we have seen unfold in 2024. A South Florida real estate company conducted an analysis of active condo listings, and it found the number of condo units for sale in South Florida has soared since last year.
Damn.
Christy Rojas says she's lived in the same condo unit in Southwest Miami-Dade for about 20 years. She pays over $600 a month in HOA dues and a special assessment, double what she.
Yo, look at this. Now, not to be talking about people's apartment. Look at this. Look at where she lives, and she's paying this. Disregard the palm trees. A lot of these Florida apartments are ran down, and a lot of them got roaches. I know for sure. I know for sure.
She pays for her mortgage.
There's always a special assessment. You either pay for it, you sell and leave.
But leaving for some may not be as easy. Since the Surfside tragedy, lawmakers in Tallahassee have passed a series of reforms aimed at making buildings safer. Those reforms include prohibiting condo associations from waiving the adequate funding of reserves starting on December 31st. The changes have resulted in some associations imposing significant special assessments.
In these special assessments growing 100,000, 200,000. I've heard as high as $350,000 per unit to fix the structural imperfections in these older buildings. Basically rendering that inventory unsaleable at the moment.
Longtime South Florida real estate broker Craig Studnicki says his firm's analysis of active listings in Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade counties shows a surge in the number of condos up for sale from about 8,300 in the second quarter of 2023 to over 20,000 a year later. Nearly 90% of those listings are in buildings that are over 30 years old.
I'm very concerned about it. Because a lot of these folks that live in these buildings are older.
Yo, those older buildings, them roaches is the size of my hat. You think I'm just playing?
Most are retired. They're on fixed incomes. They do not want to write those checks for.
And it's not just regular roaches. It's them down south, humidity, tropical roaches, and they probably fly too. They probably walk and talk too.
Special assessments. We're hoping that somebody's going to come in and buy them, but there's nobody out there that wants to take that risk right now.
We know that people are hurting.
State Representative Alex Rizzo says there's been some talk in Tallahassee about finding ways to alleviate the financial burden of some of the reforms on condo owners.
One possibility is perhaps extending the amount of time to have the fund filled. Another one may be perhaps doing a sort of a sliding scale to have that fund filled by the age of the property owner.
Good boy. But for Christy, time isn't the real issue.
I was just about to say that.
The money is a problem.
So you got to remember, however old you are, you're looking at this, right? These are some of these are 55 plus communities. If you don't know what a 55 plus community is, it's literally what it says. 55 plus community. You got to be 55 plus to move into it. So these are people that are at the end of life. You know, as you get older, you can't work as much as you did when you were younger. So your bills fluctuating up and down is not a good thing when you get older, because you can't say, "Oh, I can go do some DoorDash or I'll grab a third job and all this and that." So so this is kind of like, I'm gonna say, like, unconstitutional, definitely not fair, but you definitely want to get up out of there. If you now, the thing in my mind, right? Florida is the place where a lot of older people, dozens, millions, thousands, throughout history, that's the place where they go to retire. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, where do they go now? You probably stay right where you are. Stay right with it, if you from Minnesota or Philly, New York, you probably stay right where you at.
And they keep on putting more assessments. What are people going to do?
All right, so Senate Bill 4D enacts a number of requirements, including stricter timelines for milestone inspections. It also requires condo associations to conduct what's called a structural integrity reserve study, which is an analysis of the reserve funds required for major repairs and the replacement of common areas. And as we just mentioned, effective December 31st, 2024, condo associations will no longer be allowed to waive the adequate funding of their reserves to cover those essential repairs. And we wanted to get a better sense of what lawmakers in Tallahassee may be open to doing to address some of your condo concerns. So we sat down with Democratic State Senator Jason Pizzo. He lives in a condo here in South Florida and represents District 37 in Tallahassee. It's one of the state Senate districts with the highest concentration of condo units. And we started by asking him about a wide range of condo-related topics, including the financial implications of the reserve study requirement.
When you use, for example, fully funding reserves, that was a popular misconception. People, I think, thought, oh my goodness, even though I still have 10 years remaining on the useful life of the roof of my building, I have to be fully funded and have all of that money in hand.
So what does it mean?
It actually means that when you go ahead and you get the reserve study, the structural integrity reserve study, and the licensed engineer or architect comes back and says, this building that you live in, this association, has 10 remaining useful years of life left on the roof. Well, let's say it's $1 million to replace it. The misconception was you had to have $1 million in hand by the deadline. No. So if, let's say, you're not earning any interest and you're just doing a flat line path to the $1 million, you have to have $1 million saved by year 10. So $100,000 a year would have to be collected for 10 years to make you actually fully funded by the end of its anticipated or projected useful life. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that you have to have all money in hand right away.
So why are we seeing so many special assessments for some of these older buildings?
I think the biggest shock is coming to people who may have purchased in the last year, 2, 3, or 4 years. Those that have lived in their condo for 20, 25 years, some people 30 years in some of their condos, are not pushing back on the idea that reserves now have to start being collected. They are well aware of the fact, in looking even very casually back at the history of the time that they've been in the building, that, yeah, I don't remember ever paying any special assessment or reserves in 30 years. Really?
Yeah, so basically they about to hit them upside the head down there. So, the moral of the story is, do not buy a condo in Miami right now. I wouldn't even do Florida. Go down there, you do your Airbnb, and you go back to wherever the hell you came from, right? So listen, this is your boy Post, starting off the new year. Like I said, it's hoodactionnews.com, as you can see on the screen. Going to be doing a lot, going to be doing a lot of different things. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Now, you can watch the clips. Now, I'm going to chop these clips up. They're going to be on hoodactionnews.com. Now, you can follow me on Twitter. Now, if you're on Twitter, just say you're just a Twitter guy, right? This is streaming live on X, formerly known as Twitter right now also. So if you just a Twitter guy or girl, you can watch this right on Twitter. This whole thing, this whole live is on my Twitter. So it's Post the Mogul on Twitter, and you can go to hoodactionnews.com. Now, the clips are going to be on Hood Action News with posts on YouTube. So that's Hood Action News with posts on YouTube. And this is your boy Post. I'm Izzo. Happy New Year.